The Queen's Gambit is many things. It's an original series on Netflix. It's a drama series filled to the brim with a girl's legacy of rising from the orphanage to chess grandmastership, I guess. And I've been assured there's like a self-destruct angle that kind of happens later on. I'm just going to spoil some of my review right out the gate and say I only made it up to episode 4 of this before I called it good. Super professional, I know, but anyway. At its core, though, The Queen's Gambit is a show about chess. And I think whether or not you like chess is probably going to impact your enjoyment of the show one way or another. Personally speaking, I've always had kind of a weird relationship with chess. Like, for starters, I do kind of know how to play. Like, I couldn't tell you anything about castling properly, or quadrant management, or pawn alignment, or any of the other mathematical nonsense they bring up in this show and in other things I've read about in the past. But I do know how the pieces move. I do know what the pieces are called. I know white goes first, and I'm pretty sure somebody on Twitter has an entire essay on how this is a perfect example of white privilege, and I'm just going to cut that thought off right there before it goes too far into crazy town. For the most part, though, I've never really been into chess. I don't know, I guess when it comes to strategy board games, I'm more of a reversey kind of guy, and if we're being entirely honest, I'm not even all that good at reversey, but chess has always been one of those things that, back in my day, back when I was a kid, if you showed any interest in something like chess, and by extension, other things like, D&D, the internet, probably Harry Potter if it had been around at the time, you would end up getting labeled, what's the word I'm thinking of here? You'd get labeled a nerd! Yeah, basically that. And back in the 90s, being a nerd was not cool like it is now. And I'm not even sure it's cool now, but it's a lot cooler now than it was back then, that's for sure. If nothing else, it's kind of a necessity if you're going to navigate the internet, but I digress. So that's one of the reasons I didn't really get into chess so much. Like, I got in enough to learn how to play, but I didn't get in far enough to where I had to start thinking about things like the previously mentioned examples like castling and whatnot. And I feel like that's the kind of thing that's going to impact your enjoyment of the show overall. For starters, when it comes to the actual game of chess, this show basically assumes you already know how the game is played. Like, they assume you have my beginner level knowledge of how the pieces work, what the pieces are called, etc. Then they start moving into like the hardcore stuff very early on into the show, like castling, because this isn't for the casuals. This is hardcores only. You don't like what you see? Fuck you. Get good. That's the gamer thing, right? So if you enjoy chess, then right out the gate, you're probably going to have a reason to watch this. But if you don't enjoy chess, I'm just going to tell you right now, go find something else to watch, because this entire show is built around chess. Like, there's plenty of like drama beats that everybody recognizes and everybody outside of the world of chess loves or hates, depending on what crowd you belong to, but the entire premise of this show is chess. I mean, it's like Yu-Gi-Oh!, except the game is a lot less stupid. Oh god, I just invited a world of hate with that one, didn't I? And it's kind of a shame they went that route, because the show is actually not that bad. Like, it's very well put together, and I liked most of what I saw. Admittedly, my inner Mystery Science Theater crew did kind of make some jokes, like when the girl, the 9-year-old Elizabeth, approaches the janitor who's playing chess, and she's like, "Can I play?" And the janitor's like, basically the janitor's response was like, "Dude, I'm not playing chess with you, you're a girl, duh, girls don't play chess, go back upstairs and do My Little Pony, bleh." But aside from Mystery Science Theater worthy moments like that, I don't think the show is terrible. I'm probably not going to stick with it, though, because, like I said, it's built entirely around chess, and I'm not a big chess person. The only real criticism I can think of right off the top of my head is how Elizabeth is portrayed. Now, I don't know if this is based on a real story, or if it's like the Hollywood equivalent of based on a real story, where they had to kind of change a few things up to make the story flow better, and maybe they changed more than they should, or if this is like a 100% fictional story, or if it's based on a book or anything. All I know is this. The person playing Elizabeth, whether it's a 9-year-old Elizabeth, whether it's teenage Elizabeth, whether it's college age Elizabeth, in the 4 episodes I've seen, I found myself wondering, is Elizabeth a robot? I feel like her performance is very robotic, and I feel like it's done that way on purpose because life in an orphanage just kind of made her keep her distance from normal people, quote unquote, in, you know, just the way she interacts with them, and chess was her only solace and her only real escape from the monotony and the drudgery of having to be raised by, I want to say, Catholics. It was definitely a Christian orphanage where, like, they pounded Jesus into your head and whatnot, but all the same, it's kind of her escape, so I kind of see why she would value it so much. But all that being said, I don't think anybody could obsess over chess as much as this person, or really just anything. Like, I'll admit to having my own little obsessions. Like, recently I was really into Danganronpa after I figured out that there was an anime based on it, so I watched the anime and I became absolutely obsessed and wanted to know everything about it. That was a crazy week, but, you know, I came up for air every once in a while. I interacted with people. I could hold a conversation about anything else. Again, though, that's just one criticism I have of the show, and frankly, it's not even that big of a criticism. I just kind of, I don't know. In the long run, it's not a terrible show or even a bad show, but I do kind of feel like it appeals to a niche audience, and unfortunately, I'm not in that audience, so I personally am going to end up giving it 2 hats out of 4. But if you're into chess, you could probably give it 3 hats out of 4. And that's going to do it for this week's Hatflix and Chill. Be sure to come back next week when I have another series or movie from Netflix that might be worth talking about. In the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell to show you mean it. And I'll see you next time.